I got canceled for daring to say people shouldn't panic about COVID. People are so fearful of being the biological agents that we are that they are afraid to live. Living well is the goal. Not living forever, it's living a good life.
Okay, so first off, I need to apologize. I completely botched the story of drdrew.com. In my defense, I believe I was 10 years old when I stopped by the office as a kid, but please break it down for us.
It's so funny. The only thing I found disturbing was how miserably you did with my credentials.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let me start with that.
Okay,
so
please.
I'm a physician. I'm a board-certified internist. I'm a board-certified addictionologist. I'm a fellow with the American College of Physicians. I was an assistant clinical professor of psychiatry. Practiced medicine my whole life. I'm not a psychologist.
Okay, yes.
We did do Loveline back in the day.
I loved Loveline. I sincerely love Loveline. I wish I listened to it constantly. It was amazing.
Well, it was very popular, and it served a function back in the day. But this business spun out of it, and I thought you guys would really like to hear this history because it is a piece of history.
Yes.
Incredible.
So, good friend of mine from high school, Polytechnic High School.
Yeah.
We went off to Amherst College, and then he went to Harvard Business School. I went to medical school. And I'm going along doing all these wild things, practicing medicine and then doing radio. And he shows up and he goes, I want to show you how to form a business. We're going to do a .com company. And of course, I was hearing about all the .com stuff in the wind. And he'd got some seed capital from a company in Orange County, like $1 million. And then he put together a little board, and he grabbed me by the arm and took me up to Sand Hill Road, and we sat at SoftBank rather.
Yeah.
And he just said, follow me. I go, what are we doing? I had no idea what we were doing. Didn't know how to start a business. I didn't understand.
Had you bought your .com, by the way? Had you gone out?
Probably had done something like that at that point. I don't think we would have been sitting there without that.
Yeah, exactly.
And he just goes, follow me. And I was like, okay. So I followed along, and they go, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, so I don't remember what I said, but the 6 or 7 SoftBank VC representatives marched out of the room. And my Harvard Business School friend was anxious, and I didn't even understand what was happening. Still, I did not. And they came back in, and they go, okay, $10 million. And that was that.
Let's go.
We went down and we built the company exactly as you described it. And in fact, it drove my wife crazy. She goes, what are people doing here? Why aren't they working? It shouldn't be this nice an environment. But most of that was for the tech team. And you pointed out how weird the tech situation was. You got that part exactly right.
Okay,
but the part you got wrong is, remember, people didn't have any idea what a website was.
Yeah.
And so we had an editorial staff, we had a medical staff, we had a marketing team, and they envisioned, I kept saying, why do we need a magazine on my computer screen? Why you're building this really great magazine, but with a chat room and with some feedback. And all these sort of trigger words back then were interaction.
Sure.
And I didn't understand, I saw no value in any of it. I kept saying, we had 120 employees, and we had a board of directors from Northern California who were demanding we, quote, get big fast. This is an interesting story.
Get big fast.
Yeah.
I came to our first board meeting. I said, look, I'm trying to decide if we should figure out how to make money, how to make this profitable, or what we should be doing, or how to,
Did they tell you, don't worry about that? Don't worry about that.
Worse than that, this one guy goes, he was manic as hell, and he goes, if I thought you were so stupid, I never would have been on this board. And he jumps up and he goes, here's how you make money at .com company. And there was a giant whiteboard, and he wrote in huge letters, get big fast. And they were demanding we burn through capital faster to try to get big fast. So that became the weirdest thing I ever seen in my life. But the one thing I got right, I kept saying, it's going to be video. Why else do we need this thing? It's going to be video. But look what we're doing right now, right?
Yeah.
And I just kept saying that. And we put together a 1 night a week television show that was really a high quality show. We still have some of the tapes from it. And everybody came in, Paul Rudd, Tommy Lee, everybody came on that 1 night a week show because it was the cool thing to do, because there's this new idea, this .com company creates a TV show, and nobody could watch it. You know why?
Because you couldn't stream it?
because
Bandwidth.
nobody had stream. Nobody had broadband.
Yeah.
Broadband. You needed broadband back then. That's how far ahead of the technology we were.
We were in the
How were you guys?
Right.
Sounds like you weren't making a ton of money, but were you selling the show on a subscription? Like what did that?
was there any
was
business model
Was
or
it
like
ads,
any revenue
sidebar
model?
ads?
No.
Just eyeballs.
Just
but
eyeballs.
so Get Big
Just
Fast didn't
eyeballs.
mean revenue or profits. It meant eyeballs.
Eyeballs get big meant money, meant number of people, and they kept talking about how the curve, how the asymptotic curve would develop around viewership and engagement and this kind of stuff. And we literally, this was a company. I mean, it had lots of traction and engagement and stuff. People were kind of intrigued by it, so people were stopping by and looking at this thing. I'm not sure. We did lots of interviews with celebrities. It was sort of like E meets Teen Beat meets, it was all these different types of things all together in one site. And we literally were sitting in Goldman Sachs on, I believe it was March 19th, 2010. When was that? I'm sorry, 1999 or 2000. The day the NASDAQ fell apart.
Oh, sure.
We were sitting, the day,
Yeah.
we were sitting in Goldman Sachs, and the woman across the table was contemplating giving us $30 million on a $110 million valuation for a company that had never made a penny.
Wow.
And I just thought it was the dumbest thing I ever saw. But I knew it was tulips the whole way, and one friend of mine finally goes, "Look, it's Amsterdam 1680. It's tulips. You're going to grow Brussels sprouts, or are you going to grow tulips? What are you going to do?" And I thought, all right, I'm going to grow tulips.
Well, it's interesting to think back, and if it was structured as an investment that was actually in you and your name and likeness, it would have been a tremendous investment.
Yep.
But that wasn't a good .com story.
It was why we got the money, though. In fact, there's an Inc. article on my wall here. I was going to actually pull down and wave in front of the camera, but it'd be almost impossible to do it. Where they were sort of saying that's what they were, that's kind of what they were thinking they were doing. But it was not a clear thought, but they were looking for brands.
Yeah.
And I don't think they really knew that was not a fully developed thought at that time.
Yeah. So what was the conclusion?
It was like going to business school.
Yeah.
I saw the entire from seed to dissolve.
Yeah.
I saw the entire business cycle in 1 year.
So did you eventually take over the site again yourself, or what did that?
Dr. Koop bought the site.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Dr. Koop? You wouldn't. You're too young. He was the attorney general, and then he had a website that actually did rather well for a minute.
Did he just redirect the website, or was he still using drdrew.com?
No, he was a redirect.
Okay, cool.
Absorbed everything, and he went bankrupt, as everybody did.
Yeah.
And we were able to weasel it back. I forget how we got it back, but we had to do some sleuthing, and we finally got it back.
So yeah, what how did the shape of your business evolve then, and how do you think about packaging everything that you do now?
There's. I was listening to you guys talk, and I was thinking, boy, I don't have any framework. Mm-hmm. This is all very interesting to me, but I don't have a framework to sort of understand what I do. My stuff is always an improvisation.
Sure.
Right. When I started radio in 1983, I had no designs on radio. I was leave me alone so I can practice medicine. I'll come here in the evenings on Sunday and do community service.
Yeah.
That was my
Very
little
cool.
notion in 1983 when I started doing radio. Yeah. Then some television guys came along. I'm like, how do you do a TV show? I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, this was the same thing with the .com. Yeah. My good friend comes to me and goes, we're going to do this. And I thought, I don't see it. I don't get it. But I think we might be able to do something with it. It'd be interesting. This was a hell of an education. And you're asking how I frame everything I do now?
Well, I was wondering.
Well, it's just been interesting how many different technology trends from
media,
the .com to podcasting, but it all comes back to basically radio and TV.
Now? Yeah, like what over the past more recent tech boom history, have you been hit with the let's do a crypto
AI
thing,
Dr. Drew,
or let's do an AI thing? Is this coming? Is it rearing its head again?
That has been. I've had conversations like that.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly what to do with it, nobody knows.
Nobody.
Right. But it's part of the exploration. I'm doing streaming shows regularly. You guys blasted them up there. It looked like hell. Wait, you put it up there. I'm going to talk to my webmaster.
I mean, it looks really good for conversion optimization. It made me want to click. So I think your person's doing a good job.
Not meant to be shown on other people's shows, I guess. That's been interesting. It happened. That all happened just because I got canceled for daring to say people shouldn't panic about COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And that caused me to just stop doing everything. Yeah. And I had somebody who said, hey, you should do a streaming show. I was like, what's that? Again, that's sort of it's where I start every one of these projects.
Yeah, you had a bad experience streaming the first time where you're like, if I make the show, you're sure people are going to be able to watch it?
But
more confidence this time.
No,
it works.
I knew it. I already knew that. I saw what was happening with videos. We just kept saying we were so early. We could have been, who knows what, we could have been, God knows we could have been YouTube or something if we had sort of been the first to really advocate for this kind of platform. But we were way early, and nobody else was quite as much of a believer as I was. And so the streaming thing has been very interesting. And I'm in my kid's playroom doing this, and it's the same thing. Everything here used to require me to go out to a satellite booth at CNN.
Yeah.
And now I just do it from here. So the efficiencies are fantastic. Yeah. And so I do television out of the studio. I do podcasting out of the studio. I do streaming shows. And it all started because I got canceled, and my webmaster said the streaming is probably going to happen pretty soon. I said, let's try that. And I wanted to talk to all the people, other physicians who have been canceled. Mm-hmm. One of them happens to be the director of the NIH right now. And so I just had the sense that these people had something to say, and the cancellation thing was some sort of bizarre aberration, certainly in science and medicine.
Have you gotten, the opportunities that you maybe lost due to the cancellation, have you gotten invited back in the last
or is it just a different set of opportunities?
Or is it, are you looking at totally different, or do you not even want to go back to kind of the old?
Those are great questions. I don't know that I want to go back, but I probably would, because I've taken the position that my opinions have never changed. I'm happy to express them on any platform, anywhere. What has happened in the meantime is, what I used to do is say all the news outlets, all of them, all of a sudden the only people that would have me on was Fox.
Yeah.
Now, just last week, CNN called. So I thought, okay, good. This is a good sign.
Yeah,
I couldn't make it, but I would have had I been able to
Nature's healing.
Nature's healing, yeah.
We've been really obsessed with this idea that sort of a barbell is emerging in modern media, where all the value either accrues to the platforms like YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, or the individuals, the Joe Rogan, the Andrew Huberman, the Dr. Drews,
100%.
And that it's very hard to actually build anything in the middle. Would you agree with that? Is this something that you've kind of experienced? It feels like something that.
I absolutely concur with on the talent side.
Yeah.
That because it used to be I would require to do what we're doing right now.
Yep.
There'd be an executive producer, there'd be a segment producer, there would be a director in the studio, in the satellite booth, there'd be somebody directing at the other end at the satellite booth.
Then you got the union's involved with it.
There'd be unions, there'd be sales forces, there'd be executive structure. Now it's me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's so much more efficient, and it drives that world crazy.
Yeah.
So when Colbert gets fired for losing $40 million a year, I just looked at that and I go, well, of course.
Yeah.
That's going to happen to all of them. This is just not a model.
Yeah, and our reaction at that point was he could just go set up his own home studio and probably have a fantastic business just with his existing fan base and none of the overhead.
100%. But they are. You got to know how that world thinks. They're very spoiled. They're very spoiled, and they're used to gigantic infrastructure and dozens of writers. And the world we're living in right as we have this interview.
Yep.
To them looks sort of cheap and dumb, and people aren't talented to do that. The real people back us with infrastructure and money. That is just not. So the other side of the barbell, which I'm wondering how you see it, I just see it as largely non-viable. So much of it has got to shrink dramatically, and it's resisting.
Yep.
It's resisting like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost put the traditional media corporations like in the center. When I think of the far big mega side of the barbell, I think of the platforms, Spotify, Facebook, Meta, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, the networks, and they actually accrue a ton of the value, and it is extremely hard to start one of those companies. And if you do, you're not talent at all. In fact, you're probably an engineer, and you probably at this point have the backing of like a state government, because that's the only way TikTok got going, was, you know, so much energy and capital flowing in to actually, you know, break through. The ship has sailed on starting like new platforms for the most part, in my opinion.
I think that's probably right. And they don't need to buy talent.
No, not at all. It just comes to them naturally, and they give 50% of the revenue or whatever.
We would rather just have you jump on our show from your studio, and you benefit because people are going to trickle over to you, and
X makes
we
money
don't
on
have
their
to be,
ads, and
we just
YouTube
get to
makes
focus
money
on making content and not focused on talent management.
But the interesting thing is, you have to wonder, are we somewhere in a business cycle that's going to lead to some consolidation? And when the talent consolidates, are they going to start negotiating with the platforms? Is there going to be some sort of, I mean, that would be a natural business cycle, right?
Yeah. What was that new left-wing Substack publication that just announced? They said they're libbing out or something. Remember this?
Yeah. What are the?
Anyway, there's like a collection. The argument. So there's
the argument.
There's a new publication that's launching that's aggregating a number of writers who are sort of on the left, and we were kind of debating: will they have leverage over different platforms because they're all together, or does it actually make more sense for Matt Yglesias and Derek Thompson to just have their own Substacks and go direct, and then, you know, and then on the far other side is the platform, and there's really no one in between. But we're still early in this development of the argument.
Well, there's something very strange. It says there's a weird confluence of worlds right now. Yeah. My son just texted me, and he's been trying to get to you guys.
Really?
I know this.
Does he want to
hop on? We'll send him a link.
Yeah, we'll send him. You can join right after you.
Listening, maybe call my phone and I'll put you up to the microphone here. But
Let's
do it.
He's consolidating the ad department, you know, the management, the lawyering, the ad services, the distribution. He's trying to consolidate that onto a tiny little team.
Sure.
Because these things aren't necessary. All this stuff is not needed anymore.
Yeah.
You need an ad agency.
Yeah, this is amazing. The chat is going wild. Everyone's really happy with this. They're calling your son the prodigal son. Question.
Well, I'm gonna see if I get him to call me. He said he emailed his partner named Jake emailed one of you guys.
Okay. We'll have to follow up, but
they're having huge success, and he's the one that started talking about AI. He's in the middle of all of this. The tech influencers, the Google store, the TikTok store, everything.
Yeah.
But all of that is more efficient.
Yep.
Right. I mean, and what you have is the talent agencies and the ad agencies and the managerial services and the lawyers holding on. They're like going into the foxholes as opposed to adjusting and adapting and changing what it is they do. They are just insisting that things continue to be done the way that they've always been done, and it's I guess a classic business mistake, right?
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
I have one health question for you. Yeah. What are the John and I are starting what we hope to be a multiple decades run of daily live streaming. What would you have done when you were earlier in your career, health-wise, to better sell? You know, you seem to be doing incredibly well now. So what are the key things to look out for health-wise to make sure you can do this for decades?
Be hypomanic. Helps, which a lot of successful business people are.
Yes.
You're going, as I like hear in many of the podcasts, you're going to suffer, you're going to work hard, you're going to lose sleep. I wish I'd paid more attention to sleep, but if I had, I couldn't have done most of what I did. I'm trying to pay attention to sleep now. Yeah. And you've heard it all before. This is not new. Trust your instincts, explore, don't be afraid to fall down. For me, the big, as I look back on all the things I did, it just the willingness to improvise and to go into dangerous situations. I mean, he's calling now.
Let's get him on. We got the sun on.
I don't know if they can hear. I'll have to translate from you.
Put on speakerphone.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
How you doing?
What's happening?
your son, obviously, but we, my business partner and I actually emailed you a couple weeks back.
Okay.
We rep Roberto Nixon.
Oh, no way. I love Roberto. That's amazing. Okay. Yeah, we got to get in touch.
My dad was on the air with
Fantastic.
you guys right now. I'm flying back from Seattle.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I do. So we did have a little exchange.
Yeah. Let's
Hear
follow
you
up.
guys. He's going to keep talking, okay? He can't. I'll tell him what you said. He can't hear you.
Okay.
Keep talking, Douglas.
I was going to say that so Rob and Jake are going to an Oasis concert next week in Pasadena, and I was going to ask you if you could meet Rob in Pasadena.
Okay, yeah.
His sister also, her kids are going to Poly.
And Douglas
no
went
way.
to Poly too.
That's
Douglas went to
amazing.
Poly.
It's a little
like you said at the
reunion.
beginning of the show, only famous people go to Polytechnic School.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Well, there you
fantastic.
go. So, no, I just wanted to say hi and show you that we're not like the rest of those guys that probably email you randomly asking for things and wanting to build a relationship. It's very funny that this all happened in a strange way. So
Yeah, this is
Wanted to
amazing.
say
Incredible.
hi. I actually have to take a call for this creator
right.
named Rourke Heath. He's a Gen AI creator.
Cool.
Because he's in Dubai, and I, just trying to get on the fucking.
You got to get on with Dubai. We know how that goes.
All right, get going. I call these guys because they butchered my training.
My .com.
and I had to get them straight. John, which one's John?
I'm John.
John was actually at drdrew.com when he was like 10 years old.
Yeah. I interned for
Yes.
Intern of the year.
Yeah.
I was in the very
that's
cold
amazing.
data center. Yeah.
Okay.
Racking servers.
That's spectacular. So there's a long history on all fronts.
And he
Yeah,
went to Poly. So, okay, we'll talk later. Yes, and he went to Poly. All
Amazing.
right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have one more question on the
For
health
him or
side.
me?
For you.
Okay. Sorry, Doug.
Later, Douglas.
Later.
Yeah.
For you. Last week, we had Mark Cuban on the show. He said that drinking raw milk is extremely dangerous and should never be done.
Yeah,
Is there anything to that?
I'll go on the record. I drank a liter of raw milk
That
every
day?
day, every day for 2 years
And
straight.
you were fine?
Yeah.
And
What's
I
the-
was
Did he
so
explain
anecdotal.
why? Did he explain why?
He didn't give any underlying rationale.
Yeah, I doubt he knows why.
He was just
Well,
saying that
obvious-
the LLMs might convince you to drink raw milk, and that might lead to some sort of doom scenario.
You can get brucellosis. You can probably get tularemia. You can get listeriosis.
Okay.
And we can treat that with antibiotics, no problem. Okay. But they can make you very sick, and they're very rare.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it, but I don't. The fact that look, there's something terrible going on.
Yeah.
Where people are so fearful of being the biological agents that we are, and the reality that we are going to die, that they are afraid to live.
Yep.
Living well is the goal. Not living forever, not living perfectly free of illness.
Yeah.
It's living a good life. And we are off of that. I can't.
Great.
We are so far off of that, it is disgusting. And for a non-physician to have an opinion about milk that contains pathogenic organisms that he's never heard of or he learned to pronounce yesterday is disturbing to me. It's the same thing as when people went after hydroxychloroquine the day they learned how to say that word, a medicine I've been prescribing for decades. So we are so out of whack with this gonna live forever, fear of death, illness, infection, shit. Yes, my generation of physicians, we walked into illnesses that had 100% fatality. AIDS had 100% fatality, and we did not know what we were dealing with. And we didn't cower in the corner, we marched in. It's the right thing to do. I don't know what's happened. I can't understand this at all. But here we are. We need to focus on living well, living a good life, period.
Did you predict
biological stuff comes what may?
Did you predict the decline of alcohol consumption?
I did not.
It seems
I
like
did
falling
not.
off a cliff, right?
Yeah, I did. That's still surprising to me, but it fits with the lack of dating and the lack of having sex and the lack of socializing. That was a prime social lubricant for decades. I'm glad to see it. It's a good thing. People are starting to understand it's a poison and it's not good for any tissue in our body ever. But it makes me also. I mean. What happens? When did we become such pussies? When did that happen? That's my question these days. When did that happen?
I don't know. I mean,
have you ever said something like that on CNN? This is why you got to stay off the networks. You just got to do your own show.
I guess I've been through so much lately. I've just lost all
inhibition.
restraint. I'm a huge advocate for freedom of speech and freedom of many sorts. I'm not happy about this flag burning thing. Freedom is what I'm all about now. That includes me speaking my mind.
I will pitch you one possible explanation. I think that the fear of very consequential but low probability events, like the raw milk or the risk from raw milk or the risk from COVID, is tied to a lack of belief in immortality, and not in the sense of living forever, like biological immortality, like science will cure this and let you live forever. That's just one way to think about immortality. You can also think about immortality in your legacy. If you are written about and you have lived a great life, you will be remembered and immortalized. You can also think about it through your children, and also through the afterlife. If you're spiritual or religious, you could think that you're going to heaven. And if you don't believe in any of those modes of immortality, you don't believe that you're going to have kids or do your life's work and be remembered in the afterlife or go to heaven, or you don't believe that science will be able to fix you if you do wind up getting sick from raw milk, then even a small chance has an incredible penalty, and so you discount it very, very high.
I agree with you, with a couple of caveats. I do agree with you.
Yeah.
Embedded in that observation is a general lack of meaning making. If the meaning is I'm trying to ascend to a afterlife, whatever the meaning is of my living, that meaning should be deeply meaningful to me and purposeful. It does not have to include an afterlife. It can also include just creating a good life for my children. That's why I'm here, to do that kind of thing. But people are here for their narcissistic needs, and that's when things become fragile.
Yes.
Because we are not the beginning and the end of everything. We just are not. And if we think we're all there is what's happening to me, man. And then we have people whipping the frenzies and the fear, and they're learning to control us with that. And that is disgusting.
Yeah.
So what about, have you been tracking AI psychosis at all? Any thoughts there?
I hear about it. I don't believe it. I'll tell you, I'll make a bet that it's way overblown. It was somebody who was already psychotic and, whatever. Not that the AI relationships are necessarily going to be good. I worry about that. But this psychotic episode, I don't know. I don't know if you remember back in the 90s, there were news stories every night.
I wasn't born, sir.
Okay. Do you have to rub that in? You have to say, you just said no. I don't remember.
No. Later 90s, I got into the action, but
there was news reports like every night, like, oh, these parties where all the parents throw their keys in a bowl and they just grab a set of keys and that's who they go home with that night.
Oh, sure.
The press, the fake. I don't think people were sensitive to fake news. We have to be very sensitive to reporting these days. And so much of what's being reported is fake. And it's just to catch your eyes. It's just to get your attention. The person that wrote that article was a 23-year-old segment producer somewhere who doesn't do any research of any meaning. It just becomes something that they catch on the line, or they saw other people report it, they report it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, my read on it is it seems obvious now that if a large number of people take ayahuasca, some of them are going to have some type of psychotic break of sorts, and maybe they were prone to or had some underlying issue that enabled that. But the issue with
You're right. They already had a psychotic illness, and they just happened to break when they're working with AI. Yeah. But you're making a very smart observation that that AI world is populated by people that microdose on acid and do ayahuasca, which I tell you, it categorically causes severe psychiatric problems. I've seen it my entire career. Scares the hell out of me. They should not be doing that.
If you're listening,
did you ever consider?
Man,
if you're listening live from Burning Man, just listen to Dr. Drew. Did you ever go to Burning Man, by the way? Doesn't.
No,
seem
we got friends keep trying to get us to go. It's not my jam exactly.
It's not my jam either.
Well, you could go there and try to talk people out of it.
How about we stick to the Bud Light, buddy?
Yeah, let's stick to the crushing beers.
Have a couple glasses of wine. Anyway, this has been fantastic.
Thank you for joining.
Hopping on, correcting the record.
Come back on anytime.
We appreciate this. We'd love to have you.
You guys are great. I learned something just listening to you guys. This talking about the baseball cards. That was fascinating. You guys have a great. You're obviously extremely well trained in your respective fields, and it's very interesting to hear you talk about these various markets and opportunities and things. And I leave with one caveat,
please.
If you don't call my son, he's going to kill me. So
I know. We will definitely.
We'll go to this concert with him.
We will.
Exactly, and it's in Pasadena.
Yeah, I live in Pasadena now.
You live there now?
I do. I live over by the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl is literally walking distance for me.
So do I.
Amazing.
There we go.
Okay, we should.
Did you guys just become best friends?
I don't want to my address, but I'll swing by.
We live
I'll bring you a 30 rack of Bud Light.
We live by Annandale.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm right over there.
Okay, so
just up Linda Vista.
No excuse.
I don't want to get too precise. Show up with people at my front door. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for hopping on. This is fantastic.
Great hanging.
We will talk
Cheers.
to you. Bye.